Hello and welcome back to BlueTube, and thank you for joining us on what will be our assessment of the Friday night fixture, Wrexham v Birmingham, in the 1-1 draw at the Racecourse. What did you make of the game then, Dad?
Well, we all know that I didn't think that we was going to do very well yesterday.
I don't think many Blues fans did, to be honest, did they?
Like my dismay, I was forced to predict that we were going to be 2-0 down, and the way we started, I thought that was going to come true, and maybe even more. But I really thought we grew into the game, and I was really pleased actually with how it looked because was I setting myself up, for things to just be better than? Yeah, I was, to be honest with you. When I said that, we were going to lose, I'd never predict Blues to lose, but it was just like sort of saving your own feelings sometimes, isn't it? And but I really thought that the way we started, and when I saw that team sheet, like with Kyogo playing at right back, with Leonard being brought in, just
Iwata playing at right back.
Iwata at right back, Leonard being brought in into midfield.
No Doyle.
Doyle,
which
on
I had
the
a big
bench,
problem with.
Which I thought that because Doyle only had an hour against Sheffield Wednesday, I thought, well, he'll be starting.
A lot of people thought that. That's a big question mark for me.
But before I sort of lose track of what I was going to say, I honestly thought that Davies did something right last night. It surprised me pleasantly. Might well be a lot of people that disagree with it because the social media text from people and no Blues fans and things, what the hell is he thinking? This is him gone type messages in response to what the setup was. It just worked. It worked, and we grew into the game, and without like leaping ahead too much. First half was a bit. We started well, didn't we?
First 10 minutes we did well, but then the old set pieces did their thing. They had one corner, they had another one.
Something that we keep going on about these set pieces. We don't know how to take them. We don't know how to defend against them, and that proved massive yesterday. Goal coming from the corner, straight from a corner, phase one.
It can't carry on.
Loose header.
It's
all
awful.
the time in the world. We got Beadle starting. I thought he had a good game.
Well, he saved Leonard's skin, didn't he, on that occasion?
Yeah.
Well, should we go through the game then and start from the beginning? Because like you say, I thought for the first 10 minutes, we forced Wrexham to play our game. We did quite well. Roberts had a bit of a snapshot, but other than that, I can't really remember us having too many threatening moments in front of goal. And they make a break for it. They earn themselves a corner. We just about defend that. Goes out for another corner. And then it's just so easy for them to get that goal. Dobson, right in front of Beadle, can just nod it home. And it's simple. We had both Dykes and Clara on, I can't remember the Wrexham player that nodded that initial ball down, but they play it down, they face it towards goal. It's just an easy little tap into the goal to get them 1-0 ahead. Well, something's got to give with these set pieces.
To be fair, from their point of view, it was a good goal. It was a good cross, pinpoint cross, middle of the box. He had a total free header. There was no one on him. He was absolutely free.
Dykes and Clara were both trying to challenge, but I think they got in each other's way, to be completely honest, from what I can tell.
Well, it was the initial header from sort of between the 6-yard box and the penalty spot. It was a cracking header towards goal, which we'd have dealt with. But obviously, it was their man. What was his name that scored the goal for them? Dobson. That just deflected it into the net. And again, he was free as well. No one it was loose. It wasn't tight. They have a big line, don't they? That they're number 19 for them. That big lad, towed above Clara even, didn't he? I mean, he could have caused a lot more damage. But it's just the worry that on set pieces, we're really struggling, and we keep going on about like the height in the box and the set pieces and just being a bit loose. Sort of second phases when the ball's coming back over as well. We had this problem with whoever was playing right back for us not being strong in the air. That seemed to have been sort of corrected a little bit, but then it just moves to somewhere else, doesn't it? And this is, I mean, yesterday, I know Chris Davies said after the game that he wasn't happy with the way we gave. So he knows, but what are we going to do about it? We've got time now in the break, the international break, another one. But it's probably, I said this last time, like, feels like 5 minutes ago when we had another international break. We can work on these things now. We've really got to make it count. We've really got to start tightening up. But I don't want to go on about too much of the stuff that didn't go well, because I think that we were heading that way with, like the preview into this match. I want to look at what actually went well. And I thought, like, your players, and we can get through the team like we do, if you want, Ben, and we'll discuss and we'll go through like a neutral rating for them. How do you think Beadle played generally overall? I'll tell you why. Because
you made a few key saves for me, but the one thing, and people might disagree with me on this, but I think he really needs to work on his distribution. There was a few moments where I thought it called for a short pass, and he just lumps it up, he knocks it long. Especially towards the closing moments of the game, we gained possession again, and it's like, come on, the clock's ticking. We've got these on the back foot here. We could take it, start off from the back, as we always do. There's always been our game. Why change it now? And then maybe we can craft ourselves a chance. And he just lumps it long. He gives the ball away, and then the chance is gone. There was a few moments with that where I think that he snatched at it a bit. Maybe it's just a bit of a bit of nerves from him. I'm not too sure, but he did make some key saves. I mentioned it earlier. Leonard giving the ball away. He had to be there. He spread himself big and he got down to it. So, yeah, he's still a young keeper, very juvenile. He's only 21 years of age. He's got a lot to learn. But is he better than Allsop? I don't
to answer that one, I don't think he is, but he's a good backup keeper to have.
Absolutely, yeah.
Davies, I noticed in the interview on Sky, was sort of put on the spot about bringing him in, and he didn't really answer it. I think, and it looked like he was put on the spot. Why had Beadle been brought in and what his thoughts are around it, and all he could say was, he's an up and coming sort of keeper, and he's like Premiership quality. I can't exactly remember what was said.
I suppose that's all he can say. Though he's never going to say Allsop's crap and dropping him.
Yeah. A lot of people have sort of called Allsop out recently, and I don't think Allsop's put a lot wrong.
He hasn't been that bad for me.
No, but if it comes down to it, I think, and I'm not going to knock Beadle, I think he had a good game. There was a couple of little instances, and I think it was mostly on the distribution, because although Allsop's distribution hasn't been as good as it was.
That's a good point. That is true.
But I do think it's better still, whereas Beadle's more likely to just put his foot through it and aim it. It'll either be left, centre or right, nothing else. He doesn't try and pick a man out for me. But there was a couple of, if I really want to be picky, there was that one shot that was hit straight at him, whereas I think Allsop would have just caught it at his chest, where he was more of it was a punch out, which is a dangerous game to play. That's confidence for me, that is. But on the whole, a good second keeper to have and to step up. He's going to be he's an England international under 21 level, isn't he? So
just won a trophy as well.
People with better footballing brains than mine have made decisions on him being a better keeper than I think he is. So well played for just keeping it down to one goal. Beadle, he made some good saves, didn't he? Like you said, there was that one, the loose ball from Leonard, sort of played it across his own, diagonally across the area, and they picked it up, put the man through, and he had that shot, and he saved it really well. So, no, good points there. Iwata at right back. This is one of the things, when I saw the team sheet yesterday, I was thinking, what the hell? But, my God, he got a 7.1 on FootMob.
He didn't do bad.
Rating. I thought he had a great. Took him a little while to get into it, but didn't stop. He knew when to come forward. He covered. He tracked back really well, obviously, which he does whichever position he plays in anyway. And looked like he, by the end, looked like that was his regular position. And he was quite comfortable in it. But that's the type of footballing brain Iwata's got, isn't it? What did you think of him in that position?
Well, it's plugging a certain problem just for a temporary problem, I think. But could we say that he would have done any better than Samsted if he was in that position?
Well, that's the only
maybe
problem.
Playing devil's advocate here.
That's the only problem we've got. We've got Neumann, we've got Samsted that are on the bench.
Like, would you, if Neumann was in there, would you not have been looking at a 7.4 maybe?
Well, I was talking with my bro Russ, who lives in Oz, just before we came on here. And I was saying, I'd love to see us do this three at the back with Neumann.
That's what I was praying for.
Yeah, like you could look at who you could use on the right wing back position. You could even go for someone like Willemsen when he's fit. Damari Gray could cover it. Asanye Bright when he's fit. Laird, Samsted, Wright. And then you could, your midfielder, you could go for your Doyles, your Iwatas, your Paik. Leonard, then you could have Damari Gray. You could even put Damari Gray in your number 10, or on the left side you've got Cochrane as your left. I think it opens up so much more. It gives us a chance to play that possession game still gives us that weight going
Well,
forward with
there's
someone like Kyogo and Stansfield up front, or Dutch, or Dykes. And the rotation around that system that it could open up.
It offers more versatility with and without the ball. If you've got the ball, you can go to a back three and then push the wing backs further up the field. And then once you've lost ball and you're defending, you can go to the back five again. That's what the whole point of it would be. And that's what I thought he would go for tonight. But do you know what? We all looked at it. We all thought it was ridiculous and daft, and that it was a risk. But it paid off because Iwata didn't have a bad game. So fair play to him, I suppose.
Exactly.
But one thing, I mean, we can just quickly gloss over the other centre halves here. I felt like, and sorry to jump ahead, and I'm all over the place with the back line here, but Cochrane frustrated me a little bit.
We can go on to Cochrane if you want. He got a 7.1.
I don't think he had a bad game, but he just kept throwing himself to the floor far too much. I felt like he just get just a slight little touch and he was throwing himself to the ground quite a bit.
I'm going to disagree with you there. Now, the commentator, Don Goodman on Sky, picked up on that yesterday. But to be fair, Cochrane, I thought, and we'll come to the ref later, but there was that one early in the game when he went down and everyone was saying, well, Don Goodman said how easy it was. He's not touched him. Yeah, he did touch him. I think it was Kabore for Wrexham. Had got his hand on his back.
I know what moment you're talking about. I completely agree with you there. Yeah. It's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the entire game.
Yeah, but I'm just saying on one, but this is all part and parcel of it. And he went down. If he feels that, any ref in this division would give that. And luckily, the linesman gave it at the time, if you remember, for that particular incident. But getting on to the ref, and just quickly mention, I thought the ref had a good game. We'll talk more about that later if you want, if you remember. You know, we'll probably forget. But for me, Cochrane was his normal steady self. He had his hands full. Now, this
Kabore was brilliant for
the only thing that, for me, that the Kabore, he's got a little bit of skill, he's got a lot of speed, and that's where I think Cochrane struggled, and that's why I think he had to play the game that he did play. And it was a gamble. It was a gamble having to go down like he did.
Yeah.
But there was that one incident, again, Kabore, where he did go down, where he'd gone to keep the ball in, and he did get actually taken out, and everyone was saying, oh, there was nothing in it. But then when they watched it back again, yeah, he did actually. He literally just body checked him, didn't he, and took him out. But he didn't get that decision.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think 7.1 for Cochrane for me. Getting forward, getting some good balls into the box deep as well, from deep. I thought, nice to see. It's refreshing to see us crossing diagonally into the box, and we only tend to do that from the left side.
Yeah, but on that, you've got me onto another point here that I'm going to moan about. Sorry, guys, I'm going to sound like a proper little negativity hermit here. But in that first half, when we did get a few balls into the box, whether it was Roberts, whether it was Gray, whether it was Cochrane, whoever it was, it seemed like we weren't synchronised properly. There were so many balls into the box that there was just no one there. And I thought, are we actually communicating with each other? Do we have that synergy and synchronisation to know where our other players are going to be? You'd expect Dykes to be in that, and he just wasn't anywhere to be seen.
For me, though, and I am going to spend this video trying to be more on the positive side because of how I expected it to go. I'm going to use this, and I hope Blues, as a team, use this as a positive step going forward. We didn't lose, but
yeah, of course,
we're getting more balls into the box. That has been our problem, hasn't it? We got a lot more balls into the box over the last two games, actually. Yeah, we haven't quite got that simplicity going into the box and matching up. Kyogo, I thought, was so unlucky when he was on.
We'll get to him.
So we've done Cochrane. Okay, we'll work our way through it. Clara and Robinson will do together. I thought they had a great game. I thought apart from a bit of weaknesses on some of the crosses, the set pieces, I thought they were great. Clara, he hasn't put a foot wrong for me. He was so solid. And Robinson coming back in, still finding his feet.
Oh yeah, that's how odd some.
He had. With a lot of the Blues fans, he had a lot to prove yesterday, especially with going off with the red card, 2 yellows at Cov. What did they get? Clara got a 6.9. Robinson got a 6.4. Clara about a 7. And Robinson, probably for me, a 6.8 for me, because I thought he was solid. The rest of the game, apart from the goal, they didn't really threat. In that second half, I think that we kept them at bay really well.
I think they kept Keith more fairly quiet. See, I haven't really got too much to add on that, to be completely honest. No, it's fair enough. That's all I've really got to add. Now, another controversial decision from Davies. I know that a lot of people have a lot to say about Tommy Doyle in that game against Sheffield Wednesday, because everyone felt it. He put in a wonderful performance, and to come off on the hour mark, we thought, why are you taking off our best player? Surely you must be saving them. for Wrexham.
Yeah,
if they're feeling like a little knock, their fitness isn't quite there yet. And Leonard, you can say the same thing because he hasn't had many minutes. So when we saw Leonard on this team sheet, we were all a little bit like, what the hell is going on? But with that being said, there's a few shaky moments from Leonard. We spoke about that chance that he gave away. And if that was a goal, my God, it would have been a completely different picture yesterday. So Beadle, really, I hope he gave him his thanks. Yeah, massively. Yeah. But he didn't have the worst game for me, Leonard. I thought he had a few bright moments, a few decent passes. He webbed up and he linked up well with the players around him, picked up the ball from the defence. He put it into the attack and he played it through to the likes of Gray, Stansfield, Roberts on numerous occasions, and I thought he did well. He did well to look forward with his passing.
You know what Leonard's problem was? Because he had so much coming through him yesterday, because he put himself about. Any time that, because of the amount of touches he had, you only need a couple of bad touches. And if those are the only touches you note, he's that type of player where there's a quick 1-2 or there's a quick turn on the ball, finding space and going again. And you only need a couple of them to not come off for people to start thinking, he's lost the ball again. But if you look at the positives where he has done really well and some of the balls he put through, some of the nice switching play from left to right, because I was guilty of this, and you actually put me right on this yesterday when we was watching the game. I was thinking, he's lost the ball again. And you actually said to me, but he's just done this, he's done that. And you start watching him in a different light, and it's easy to lose sight of that. And I think whoever's been watching him, they gave him a 6.6 on FootMob. I don't think that's.
I never trust these ratings, you know.
Well, I like I say, I just see this as a neutral rating because we're always going to give them more unless it's been bad like it has been.
But by the way, I'm saying this all considering the fact that he hasn't been in our squad all too much.
And he played 90 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I've got in mind here when I say that. So give him credit.
He's been literally thrown in at the deep end, I think, yesterday. Away from home, stormy nights, horrible conditions, and he's gone and he's played all right. Yeah, there was some wayward passing, and if you're going to play in that position, those passes, it's almost like the goalkeeper. You make a mistake, it's a goal. Similarly, if you're in the middle of the park, just sitting behind, in front of your, like your back two, if you will, and if you're on the defensive and you put something wrong and there's a chance they're going to score from it, you wouldn't have forgiven that. But I think there was more positives with Leonard yesterday than negatives for me.
And with Paik, I think he really does stand out above the rest. A lot of people gave Paik a bit of criticism yesterday that I noticed anyway, which I couldn't really understand. His technical ability and composure on the ball is a different level. When you see him, he never panics. You can give him the ball in any situation. You can have 3-4 players around him, and he's still so technical. He can worm himself out of the tightest of situations, and he did that time and time again. I was impressed with Paik personally, and people might disagree with that. He had a good game.
He was dropped for Sheffield Wednesday to the bench. Started last night. He was equal man of the match for Blues yesterday with a 7.4 according to FootMob. I thought very similar to Leonard, but maybe just did a little bit more, which is reflected on these scores here because, he was everywhere. He put himself about. He got stuck in. Some fantastic challenges, some brilliant moves going forward as well for me. He just generally doesn't give in and he doesn't know when he's beaten. And for me, he is class. That first season we had him when we was in the Championship, we didn't really see the best of him. We didn't see the best of anybody. Last year, we saw the class that he can do, and it was going to be interesting to see how he stepped up back to the Championship this year. True test. And I think he's doing it.
Yeah.
He's on an even keel with a lot of the players around him. But for yesterday, I think that our midfield totally outplayed their midfield, although Dobson got an 8, but purely, I think, because he scored the goal. For me, Paik was one of them. There was, like Leonard, a couple of dicey issues, but because like the traffic that comes through them, we tend to notice. It depends on what coloured glasses you've got on with some of our players. Like me with Beadle, and I admit that, I haven't been the greatest fan, but I really tried to watch it as from a neutral perspective yesterday. And you can see it a little bit different. And I saw the best in Beadle yesterday because of that. And I think we've got to do that with some of the players like Leonard and Paik. If you're not used to having them in, you can be like, Water should be there and it's not going to work out. But I'll give it to Chris Davies. I think he did get it right yesterday, much to a lot of Blues fans' surprise. And we might not all agree with that, but I think the result tells us a lot. And we could have even nicked it in the end, couldn't we?
Yeah, the only argument that you could have, though, and this is a nothing argument, really, because we'll never know, you could just say things like, well, if Leonard wasn't in and Doyle was the one starting, who's to say that we wouldn't have won that 2-0?
Yeah, but if I'd have got 6 numbers on the lottery, we'd have been like living
This is
in a
it.
big house now.
I know.
I know, it's ifs, buts and maybes, but
Yeah.
it's right to look at it like
It's a
that.
nothing argument.
But you have to go with what you've got on the day, and then move forward from it and improve on it. And for me, we've gone away from home. We've stopped the rot away from home, like we were talking about the other week, and we can build on that now. We haven't come away with 0 points in the last 2 games. Yeah, we should have got a result against Sheffield Wednesday. It was a tough game, and we did really, considering it was a 90th minute of extra time. And yesterday, I think that on balance, Blues should have edged it away from home, like I say, in really bad conditions.
Right, should we talk about the front then, the attacking positions? I think in the first half we had nothing from them, really. I think Stansford barely got a touch on the ball in that first half. I'll be totally honest with you, I can't really remember all too much about them being involved in the game at all.
Yeah.
Damari Gray. The only thing I can remember about Damari Gray's performance in the game was that he had a few silky touches. Of course, he had that chance where he took it down so well. I think that this was in the first half. A Watto, again, running down. He cut back in onto his left foot. He played it across the box. One of their players slipped. It couldn't have gone any more perfectly for us. We got a bit of luck. He brings it down so well, and then he skies it over the bar. Really, really unlucky, but he should be doing better, to be completely honest. And Stansfield, Dykes, who I thought he didn't press as much as he did when he played against Sheffield Wednesday. He didn't have that same level of energy about him. I don't know if that's just down to the way that he's been managed and what he's been told to do. Stansfield, I didn't notice at all, but when I did notice him, he looked really frustrated.
I think Dykes, starting with Dykes for me, didn't see a lot of him in the first half. The one chance I do remember, and it was a cracking crossing from Gray, where we were questioning whether he should have gone in with his head, but he stuck his foot out, made contact, but it was well wide.
Yeah.
That could have been different. Again, it's another ifs, buts and maybes moment, isn't it? You could see that he was trying to use that energy. I think he quickly tired. I don't think he's not been playing 90 minutes.
This is true.
I don't think he's like completely like a 90-minute man for us, which is why he does so well when he comes on. Stano, absolutely right, Ben. I think his first half wasn't great, and he not quite got that synergy though, all those energy.
Is it down to him though, or the service that he's getting?
Here, Dykes got a 6.6, which I'd sort of go with that. Stano got a 7.4 because I think second half he put himself around a lot more. He was certainly getting about the pitch, and then the assist for the goal for
that was superb.
Who got a 7.2 on FootMob, which I would totally agree with. I thought he was a tricky little player yesterday. He looked really good for me. Again, someone that's literally played a couple of games for Blues, hasn't been playing regular football at Sunderland because he's not going to get in their team. He's in their Prem level. But he's certainly Championship level and certainly knows how to take teams up because he's been there with Sunderland. Thought he took his goal really well. Straight into the second half, something like 20, 22 seconds in or something like that. Stano was involved in that. There's still some nice passes from him. I don't think Stano's fully fit, I think he's carrying a niggle, I do.
You reckon?
But
well, he did go down. He did go down against Sheffield Wednesday. He's gone down a few times.
Yeah, he's been going down, and a lot of it's tactics. Like about the 70th minute, go down, we'll have a team talk, and there's a lot of that. But I think there's.
Don't think Stano's that player because he's usually the one that needs to be spoken to with the rest of the team. They usually have the keeper go down, don't they, for that sort of thing? Yeah. So I don't know if it is something that he's carrying. I think you might be onto something there, actually.
But Gray, I thought Gray had there was some shiny moments there, but it was never going to be a game of finesse, was it? With the conditions, like I say. But Gray got a 6.7, I think it was, which 6.8 to maybe 7 on some of the moves he made. But
I'm glad that Roberts has got his goal, though. I think he deserved that. And like you say, it was a really, really well-worked goal. A great ball through from Stano, good vision. And he took it like a top-class striker, Roberts did. He'll be proud of that.
Yeah.
Now, I really want us to talk about the substitutions because there's a lot to say about all of them, to be honest. Well, then again, I'm not too sure where I could go with Tommy Doyle. What did you make of him when he came on? I mean, he only played.
It doesn't
about
seem
10
to do
minutes.
the same. Yeah, it doesn't have the same levels as if he starts a game. When he started at Sheffield Wednesday, he looked so comfortable. He bossed midfield. Sheffield Wednesday, and like Davies said after the game, he sort of explained why he took him off because he wanted to. Yeah, he made out that he was going to be starting him. That's the impression I got from what he said. That like I only wanted to give him an hour. He was always only going to get an hour just to make sure that in the future that like we can use him and there's no knocks or anything like that and build him into the game. But then he came on. What minute did he come on?
The 81st.
81st minute. That
it's not enough, is it?
It wasn't enough.
The only thing that I think is he must be carrying some really slight niggle that's preventing him from starting the game.
Possibly.
Because I don't understand why he wouldn't have been coming on maybe at the 65th minute at the same time Kyogo came on. If you really want to,
what I do like,
I don't understand it.
What I do like is the fact that we've got all these players like your Kyogos. Anderson came back, which I thought that was brilliant. Seeing him back again yesterday,
he was fantastic.
Kumas, what I'll get to in a minute. And Doyle, we've got Willemsen to come back, we've got Wright to come back, like we said before. So you look on paper at all these players that we've got, it looks really good, but we don't know. And I've said this, we don't know who our starting team is, really, do we? And that will adapt. If we can get the rotation right, which that sort of showed yesterday. I thought the rotation was right yesterday. But for me, I'd have started with Doyle because of the way he played at Sheffield Wednesday. But I don't think Paik and Leonard did bad enough to actually say, well, who would you have taken up between those two? Who would you have not started to have Doyle start, knowing how they played after the game? Would you have started Doyle instead of Leonard?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, 100%. I don't understand.
There you go. So
for me, that is.
But like I'm saying, in hindsight, Leonard wasn't that bad, was he? Leonard actually had a good game.
No. Yeah, and you've got to think he's there. He sees the players day in, day out, every single day. He's going to know way more than we do, but still.
We can only speculate as fans.
I can only respond to what I'm seeing on the pitch. And what I've seen on the pitch, for me, is fairly significant. And he had a blinder against Sheffield Wednesday. But do you know what? Let's not keep going on about it. Let's move on. I want us to go on to Lewis Kumas, because for me, you might disagree with this. I think that that's his best performance so far. It wasn't sparkling. It's still some juvenile tendencies in there, of course, but I thought he got right stuck in to the game.
I like his passion, and
I
100%. I agree. Definitely his best. I think he's only a sub for us at the moment.
Burst of energy to bring on at the hour mark.
He's quite passionate. He got himself a yellow card, one of only 2 yellow cards, I think, in the whole game, which was a positive for refereeing. And like I say, I'm not going to harp on too much about it, but yeah, he certainly got some good crosses in, got into some good positions. Looked dangerous yesterday.
Yeah, I thought
played him on the right, didn't we? When he came on.
Drilled the ball across the box a few times. Created some of those chances for
Kyogo, which he was unlucky with. I thought
they just got a nick on it. When we talk about Kyogo in a minute, my God.
Just a little bit of awareness there. I think he could have sort of kept his mind open, kept his eyes open. He could have been onto that loose ball. But
yeah, I think that's a bit harsh.
It's a maybes again. How many times are we going to use that today?
Well, it's a bit harsh. The defender just got the tiniest nick of it to take out of his path.
But
anyway,
that's all you need sometimes.
Keshi Anderson.
Yeah, I was chuffed to see him back.
So was I.
Chuffed to see him back, and as long as we can keep him fit and get him motivated, because this guy scares defenders to death.
He does, yeah.
And talking to Russ again just now, he still thinks he's got this headless chicken thing, which he did have to start with, but I think he's got an end product now. Similar to Laird, when Laird used to run down the line and just like, what to do with it now? And it improved under Davies. I think Kesh is exactly the same. He has an end game, whereas it'll either be byline, cut in, or cut inside and have a shot, or lay it off. Once he's fully fit and match fit and stays fit, I think he'll be a massive difference in a positive way for the Blues.
Yeah, I think he was right up there with the assists last season, Keshi Anderson.
And scored some important goals. He scored some fantastic goals.
Vital. We've really missed him. I can't wait to see him back in the fold. And for me, he's got to start. I don't know how, but he's got to. You've got to get Keshi in there.
Well, if it's a choice between Kumas and Keshi every time for me.
Yeah, 100%.
Damari Gray. He's obviously a starter, so you just
Yeah,
swap
there'll
them.
be some
But
there'll be some
then you've got
choices to
Roberts,
make.
who's going to put his hand up and say, "What about me?"
Yeah, it's a
Nice
tricky one.
problems to have. Like, it's like the start of the season again. Well, who do you go with? So it's nice problems to have, and you've got to try and utilise all of them, but get their energy levels into the time they're on the pitch. So they're depleting themselves, and then you bring in on this fresh set of legs.
Yeah. Shall we go into the last little chap here then?
Yeah, Kyogo.
Yeah.
Furahasi.
Kyogo, man, what are we going to do about Kyogo? It was so cruel, wasn't it? The way that he had that goal. I mean, you nearly hit the ceiling at home, didn't we? I mean, my God, yeah. And then, and he was offside. He was offside, and you can see he spoke to Chris Davies after the game, and he said like how much, you know, he's talking about how far was I offside, and he's got his arm around him. Chris Davies, great man management. It's what you love to see. You know, he's just trying to tell it like you get in there, sort of thing. And my God, I mean, when's it going to happen for this poor bloke?
In another universe, that goal stood. Blues won it 2-1, and everyone's singing about Kyogo today.
That's it, and he started.
That's how tight the differences are, isn't it?
I know, it's crazy.
That's how tight, because look at keep doing it. Going back to that first game against Ipswich, when it was a goal and the referee
took it away
from him. That was his debut at home, first championship game.
He scored a goal.
How different might it have been there?
A perfectly fine goal as well.
Like Jay's goal, Jay's first goal when it came off the post from Kyogo's shot lob over the keeper.
Yeah.
Yeah, like how unlucky was that? But we managed to score off him.
Yeah.
This guy, Kyogo, is going to be mustard. I'm telling you now.
But you know what? He might have.
But he needs to be starting him.
Yeah, he might have.
He needs to start him every game.
I think Chris Davies might have even said this. I don't know where I've got this from. I think he will have probably picked up some confidence, even though it wasn't a goal. Just the fact that he put the ball in the net. I think that could have given him some confidence, because he's saying to him, it's like, you can do it, just these fine margins, just refine your game.
In another universe,
a little bit.
He scored 3 or 4 goals.
And you'll be there. And it wasn't just about that. Those drills into the box, we spoke about Kumas drilling it across the floor, and that defender just got the slightest nick on it. I think that happened twice with Kyogo, just there where he's just missed out. And it's incredibly painful at the moment, especially when it's such incredibly tight margins. But I agree with you, and I hope that Blues fans can see it as well. He's so close. We can't give up on a player like that, can we?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And like I say, if we can get the rotation right, but give these forwards the time they need to get into it. It's like Duxy's going to need time. Kyogo's going to need time. And out of the two, for me, Kyogo is the one that creates the chances, gets into those pockets, splits defences. Yeah, if you watch him, there's times where you think, "Come on, get goal, get like your goal side of him. Yeah, watch your line and all that type of thing." And there will be upsides for him, but I think it's going to come.
No doubt about it.
I mean, let's face it. There's a couple of things globally that we can look at with last night's game. Wrexham still haven't won at home. I was odds on sure that last night Wrexham were going to break that duck.
And they would have smelled blood, by the way.
Blues have kept that going, because I think it was in danger of totally falling apart for Blues the way it's gone. But the way we finished Sheffield Wednesday off the other night and got a real deep injury time equaliser. Going into yesterday, I admit that I was in such a negative frame of mind, although I was trying to be positive. It surprised me, and I was chuffed a bit. I went to bed last night thinking, that is a great result. Point at Wrexham, where they are desperate with this new team that spent loads of money to pull the wool over our eyes and get the result that everyone thought they were going to get before the match. We put a stop to that. And we did it well. We did it with possession. I'll go on to the stats now, actually, Ben, just quickly go through that.
Yeah, go on then.
When we look at our possession is coming back again, and we are getting better chances, if you will. It was pretty much 60-40 on possession in favour of Blues. Total shots, 8 for Blues. They had 12. 3 on target for Blues. We want to see that improve. Away from home, I'm sort of happy with it, but we can do better. I don't know what passing percentage really means in way of games, because it's goals that count. 83.7% passing accuracy to their 75%. Blues had, according to Sky Stats, 3 clear-cut chances to their 1. So convert that into goals. That's what your result could have been last night. Maybe. 5 corners. We don't know what to do with them. That needs to change.
That is the big takeaway, isn't it, from games at the minute? The set pieces need improving massively.
Well, it was 5 corners apiece, and that was the only time that I feared Wrexham.
Yeah, on the set pieces.
On the set pieces.
In open play, we dealt with them really well. That's a really good point to make, actually.
That's why I thought the back line did really well in open play, but it's just on the corners, the set pieces.
Especially in that second half.
To up our game there.
It was a game of 2 halves, wasn't it? Wrexham certainly bossed the first, and then we came back in the second. We kept calm. We did quite well. I do want to touch on things. I think we've basically really comprehensively covered.
Can I just finish this off? Because I was going to say, in the whole game, there was 2 yellow cards, and it was for Blues. And
you've got to do it, haven't you?
And I'm just going to say, the ref,
oh my God,
Robert Madley. No, hear me out on this one, because it was a different game for the ref yesterday. And I've seen this Robert Madley about a bit, and he's a decent ref. And I'm touching wood here, because I thought he let a lot go. And it was a proper game of football yesterday. There was none of this silly blowing up for slight touches or anything like this. I thought it was fair, and it was fair in favour of both teams. And I know that they were moaning about some of the decisions, but he let the game go, and that's the sort of game I want to see. So fair play to Rob.
I'm sure
the rest could take the leaf out of it.
I'm sure he watches this channel, and you know what? I bet he'll really appreciate you saying that. Yeah, I think he's a subscriber. In fact, he's in the comment section quite a lot. He is. So
fair play.
I did want to just step away from football. I feel like that's a comprehensive look. And just to really round it off, I think that Wrexham have got some really good players on their hands. Kabore had a great game, I thought.
I thought he was a bit of a headless chicken. Yeah, there was some good moves, but I thought that Cochrane, apart from the speed, kept him at bay well.
I think he did quite well. No, he got the best of him a few times, to be totally honest.
He got a 7 on FootMob, and Cochrane got a 7.1.
I think Dobson, he came up from League One. I don't know how long he's been with them. Fair play to him. He's one of the few survivors, from what I can tell. He got man of the match as well, so fair play to him. We kept Kiefer more quiet. Windass I didn't really see too much of, to be honest. I thought Doyle, one of their centre-halves, had a really good game. Their keeper was fairly steady. Yeah, Wrexham, I think that they'll be fine this season, to be honest. I think they're fairly similar to
that Clueworth, he got a 7.7 on FootMob. He's been with them from the start, from the lower leagues.
Is that right?
Stepped up.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. He stepped up every division since they've been promoted and remained. And he got a 7.7 yesterday. Dobson was their star man with 8 on FootMob. Their keeper got a 7.4.
And I will say, I noticed nothing from Nathan Broadhead when he came on.
I thought he was very... we kept him at bay.
Anyway, right, I feel like that's a comprehensive look on the pitch. But just before we close out this video, it's a long one today, blimey. Just speaking a little bit about Tom Wagner, because he was interviewed by Sky before the game, wasn't he? It was surprised that they didn't get all blown away from the wind, but they managed to stick their feet and they had a good chat. And he spoke about, he was asked, considering how the championship's gone for you guys so far, are you guys going to have to tweak your expectations a little bit? And before they even finish their question, nope, we're going for it full throttle. Yeah. And he says that is still the aim. It'll never not be the aim. I've got to say, I love him for it. He's consistent, isn't he? He doesn't change anything. He's go, go, go. And what he said ages ago, it comes true again. If you can't say it, then you can't do it. He wants to get to the Premier League. He knows what he wants. He wants the Premier League, and he's absolutely going for it. He's gunning for it. He's the sort of bloke that you need behind you when you want to achieve something.
When that man talks, people listen.
Yeah, absolutely.
You stop everything and you listen to what he says, and you listen with interest, because it just grabs a hold of you, and you're just interested in everything he says. And what I liked was he gave the backing to which is it like the definitely gallows backing, but we often see that when you got the backing of the board as a manager, it means you're on your way out. But he said it live on Sky, and he was talking on about making mistakes and learning from your mistakes, and acknowledging that Davies is a young manager and he will make mistakes. And it's about, he said, I make mistakes, I've made mistakes. And
that was a key comment, mistakes. And
I thought,
haven't seen the best from any of us. Yeah, that's
if what you remember after the game in Chris Davies' post-match as well, where he was talking about he's in regular contact. He said he spoke to him this morning and he'll speak to him again at the evening. We speak every day. I think that is such a valuable sort of coming together of owner, manager. As long as, and I don't think Wagner's anything like this being, we got to do this. Like you see some of these owners and they get involved and they put tracksuits on and they want to be at the training ground.
Oh, we've heard that before.
Exactly. We don't want to go down that route. But I think if we've got that balance right, and I don't think it's just a mutual respect in front of the cameras. I think that's generally there. I don't think Davies is going anywhere unless he does something massively wrong and it all goes absolutely Pete Tong in the next few weeks or months. Nothing's going to change.
I'm gonna say something mental here, so I have to apologise beforehand.
Do you
but
need your
just
tablets? I've got them over.
Ah, right, yeah, you just got to hear me out here. You might agree with me. If I had to choose how we conceded the goal yesterday, I'm actually so glad that it was from a set piece in the way that it went down, because he was in there in the away end. Could you imagine what he would have heard once that goal had gone in? Because the fans, they'll let you know how they're feeling, and they'll scream and they'll shout about it. Set piece again, conceded again. When are we going to sort this out? I can 100% guarantee you from being there, and he'll know it anyway, Tom Wagner. He's not daft, is he? But he'll be hearing the jeers and the complaints. Not directed at him. I'm not saying that. Not any malice in it. But people won't be happy about it that we conceded again from the corner. When that goal went in, he would have heard it, and that would have been the clear sign. It's like, there's something wrong here with the set pieces. And I'm hoping that him being in there and potentially hearing that is something where he goes, all right, let's have a look at this then, because it's not right. It's yet again where we're conceding from a set play, even if it's a long throw, and whether it's a corner, free kick, whatever. We've conceded from them all now, and we've scored from none of them.
But it's about improving on that now, isn't it?
This is what needs to happen. Yeah. This is what needs to happen. I don't know. I don't want to sit here and just slate one character, but we've spoke about him before. Is it down to Jonathan Grounds? Is it something deeper? I don't know, but it's something that hopefully over the international break we can work on, can't we? So that when we come back, we can finally start to look a little bit more solid.
All I'll say on it, just, and I won't harp on about that too much, is just to see some improvements on it. Just to see that we look like we know what we're doing and we can mix it up a little bit, because we'll soon get found out if we try and do some sort of one-trick pony type thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the danger. And we don't want to make it too complicated. Just play to our strengths.
Yeah.
What we've got to do is play to our strengths. I mean, I used to like when we used to mix it up with the odd short corner and things like that, or just try and just throw a different angle onto it, like, look like you're going to put it back post and have someone like that's going to take it short, or swinging one in, swinging one out, short corners, and as long as we don't pass it back to the corner taking these offside.
Yeah, we do need to have some versatility.
But waffling again.
That's what we do best.
Anyway, the final whistle's just gone.
Right then.
Should we wrap it up? You got anything else you want to say before injury time finishes up?
I think that this has been a really comprehensive chat. I don't think that there's anything else we could talk about, even if we tried. International break now, as we've mentioned, and then we're back again against Hull City. Look out for a preview on that. And if you have enjoyed this video, if you're a Wrexham fan, let us know your thoughts about the game as well. We welcome fans from the opposition, of course, as well, and anyone really. Just share your thoughts down in the comment section below. Same with you, Blue Noses, as always. If you've enjoyed this, be sure to stick a like on the video. It really helps us out a lot. We can appreciate it if you could do that for us. And subscribe if you've enjoyed our waffling on. But other than that, I think that's everything. Rounded off quite nicely.
All good.
Enjoy the international break. I'm only joking. We all hate them. And we'll see you on the next one when we'll be back at home playing Hull City. See you later.